Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Independent Street Tarot and Seasons and Ritual, and I'm here to talk about this beautiful blood moon. We're in the energy of it right now. So it's a full moon in Virgo. We are still in Pisces season, and it's a total lunar eclipse. So that means total lunar eclipse. Um, it is happening. It is happening. I'm in New Orleans, so it's going to be at 1:53 a.m. is when it's at its peak. So maybe if you're on the West Coast, let's see, yep, it will be on March 13th. So if for us, if we can see it, we have clear skies, and if you're up that late slash early, you would see the moon starting to turn a blood red color. And so at its peak, it would be that dark red, and then it'll start to lighten up again. You will be able to see the moon, unlike um, in other eclipses where things are eclipsed out, this you will still, well, I guess you'll still, like in the other one, you see the sun, but and it makes it, but with this you'll still see the moon. It just turns a different color. So um and for everyone that's having like oh about this, um take some deep breaths, get grounded. It's in Virgo. Virgo is mutable earth, and this is a very strong eclipse because it is a total eclipse. It is coming in a Pisces season, where the sun is. It's in the last degrees, where the sun is starting to hit these last degrees of Pisces. It's kind of like in the middle right now. Um, but the sun will be conjunct. It's already was conjunct Saturn. It'll be conjunct the North Node in Neptune. And right now, Neptune is at 29 degrees of Pisces. And Neptune will move into Aries March 30th. So we still have a while for that. It does when things are moving quickly, it seems like it's not a while. But it's really important to sit with this energy of this full moon for the next few days. It's important to see what comes to light. Full moons to me, um, usually when we speak of a full moon, it's all about release, release, release. But for me, the full moon is the release and the manifestation at the same time. So the fact that this is happening during Pisces season, which is Pisces is known for at that beginning and ending, and Virgo, higher Virgo is known for ascension. This is a very powerful, strong full moon. So let's kind of break it down a little bit. There have been so many things coming in and out with this full moon. I've got to get better at taking notes when they come through. But this is kind of what I put together. So um, when we look at the moon, if you look at the moon in the astrology chart, the moon is up here, and then the sun in Pisces with the four other planets is down here. And so the moon is basically by herself. We have full moons when the moon and the sun are opposite each other. So the moon or so the moon is reflecting the sun. And so the moon in Virgo is reflecting her light on the entire zodiac, but she's especially shining her light down on Pisces. And the idea that I saw about it, it's almost like sitting in a movie theater and seeing the projection, right? And it's really important to think about this idea of projection. And what is being projected is we've got to see where the illusion is ending in our lives, and we've got to see where we've kept up the illusion in our lives, and kind of like listening to what's coming through um from upstairs, but also kind of like touching on other kind of seeing what other astrologers are saying about this. To me, there's a couple very important points. First and foremost, it's about highlighting the subconscious. A lot of times we talk about this idea of self-sabotage and how do we beat the self-sabotage? And those words were really popular a couple years ago. I don't hear them as much now. But the idea is to allow what is going on and playing in your mind to come to the light and recognize it. And it doesn't have to be that hard. And maybe just because where we are in humanity and the consciousness and how we're evolving, maybe it is easier to come to the light. But it's important to see what is going on behind your head because the idea, if we think of the Virgo Pisces axis, Virgo's the resolver, in Pisces is the mystic, like the rebirth. And it's at the end of the zodiac. So it's almost like in order to move on to Aries, to that beginning, we got to resolve kind of what we've been doing for the past year. Now, sometimes it's for some of us, myself included, maybe it's things we got to resolve we've been doing for like 20 years, 30 years, whatever. And that's okay. But the idea is to understand there's really no such thing. There's no such thing as self-sabotage. What it is just that we're not paying attention to the story that's playing on behind the notes, if you will. So, in a lot of times, it is paying attention to see what was modeled for us in our families, in our friendships, um, in the workplace, right? And even when that comes to the conscious and you're like, God, I'm not going to do that again. But if you're quietly thinking about it, if it's on repeat, or you're quietly thinking like, um, you know, I didn't deserve that promotion anyway because I'm not worth it, and like everyone around me, is getting these promotions because that's where they need to be in life. And I need to be here. I need to be at this quote unquote fill in the blank, right? That is what's keeping you stuck from ascending, right? From moving on. And it's really important. And you might feel like I'm okay with that. Or you might feel like, yeah, that's what it is. But what that's trying to tell you is, hey, man, that's what's keeping you down, or that's what's keeping you at an 8 instead of being a 10, or at a 1 instead of being a 3, however you want to see this. And um, before I think social conditioning kept us really, really in the dark, if you will. But now we're starting to open up and realize we don't have to be kept in that social conditioning. So if Virgo in its highest self is resolving and ascending, because I'm using she because Virgo is the virgin, she's the Virgin Mary, but it's that idea of that virginal energy of always new, not being old, the ascension. Oh, we're starting over again. Always, I can resolve that old thing to become new again, right? And that pairs perfectly with that Piscean energy in its highest self when it knows when one thing ends, a new thing begins, right? It's all about moving on, moving up, moving forward. And the thing about it is with the mystery, right? The mystery of the unknown. We're not going to know exactly how the nuts and bolts work. That is where this idea of faith comes in. This is that idea of belief comes in. I just know it's going to work out. I know I've finished my terms with that old contract. I know I can move on. And you start believing that. And because then the subconscious changes and the subconscious is saying, okay, we're doing this now. It starts that new story, and that new story is valued in the present. The new story is where is where it is because the more we focus on the present, that's what creates our future. And Virgo was really good at understanding that, and so is Pisces when they're in the higher self of both of them. When they're in the lower self of Virgo and Pisces, again, a perfect pair. Virgo will start to ruminate. How can I fix this? How can I make this happen? If I do this and change that and move this here and get that there, then I can really make it work. And Pisces, being its opposite sign, will keep us in that illusion, keep us in that lower vibe, keep us rocking and rolling within the tides of swimming, not finding seriously any resolution, and wondering, why can't I get this working? Why is everyone beating me to the chase? Why does everyone have a beautiful life? And I'm always here getting taken a dump on, over and over again. And so then that's that lower energy of Virgo, which is the martyr. Martyrism, martyring the self, putting themselves up on the cross, which also fits beautifully with Pisces, because if Pisces is the sun, um, and literally put itself on the cross, right? It's always just that awful sacrifice in order for everyone else to have this beautiful life, but you. Okay. And this is what is very interesting. The blood moon is getting us out of that lower Piscean energy, that lower martyring energy of Virgo. And if we have to kind of understand it in a logical sense, this is the best way that I think I can present it to you guys so you can say, oh, fuck, or excuse me, oh, shoot, my mom's going to get so mad at me. That's fine. Oh, shoot, I'm martyring myself, or oh shoot, I'm stuck in the lower Pisces Virgo axis. I need to get into that higher Virgo Pisces axis. And, one way you could do this is just noticing what you're thinking in the background. Noticing what you're thinking in the background. Is this keeping me in the illusion, And physically, and when I say physically, I mean like in the 3D world, you know, if things aren't happening, if things are too hard, if you're still quote unquote stuck, that is just, we think it's like yeah, it's so aggravating, it's so frustrating. I've been there, done that. But it is just a gentle reminder of the universe being like, hey, you need to focus on what you're thinking about in your subconscious. And if the subconscious is seriously saying, I didn't deserve those things, I didn't deserve those things, or, I'm never going to get my health in order because, I'm just never going to get my health in order. It's easier just to fill in the blanks, right? And a lot of times that old story is because what we've seen or experienced, right? And it's just important to notice that. And once you notice that, that's where the shift happens. That's where the shift begins. And a lot of it is we could talk about past lives, but we could just talk about our current life and what was modeled and what is modeled. And we've been doing so much work for so many years that we really should be able to be like, oh God, I'm thinking about that. Okay. And it's not like, oh God, I'm thinking about that. I'm ruining my life or throwing my life off track. It's just like, oh, there's the flag. There's the signal. Okay, I need to change that. So one of the most beautiful things you could do with this full moon, total lunar eclipse, is set the intentions. I need to know when I am holding myself up. I don't really like the word self-sabotage at all, but we could say like I'm holding myself up, or I'm not allowing myself to manifest, or show me what it is that I'm ruminating on that's not allowing myself to manifest quickly. Um, and then if something keeps popping up and you're just like, why does this keep popping up? That's what it is, right? And when it comes up, there's a million different things you can do. You can say, okay, X, Y, and Z keeps popping up. I'm allowing myself to allow this to be resolved. I'm allowing to hand this over. I'm allowing for it to, the angels will take it away, science take it away, this lamp to take it away. I'm not holding on to this anymore. It can be taken away and it can be resolved and I can move forward. And we can just kind of work with that energy. It's a gentle energy, it's a flowing energy, you know. I can tell you like working up into this full moon. The energy has been very rocky for myself, but like for a lot of my friends, for the clients that I've had right now in this full moon portal, things have kind of evened out, quite honestly. Like the aha moments have all been here. And so now we're in this portal and it's easier for them to kind of hand things over. And I hope that's where you are too. And if you're not, that's okay, just kind of keep notes. Again, we've moved out. Pluto is not in Capricorn. Things aren't going to be cut and dry. Um, Pluto is in Aquarius, so it's going to be air. It's going to be a little more flowy, but it is going to be on point because Aquarius is factual and Aquarius is fixed air. Or you could say Aquarius is magic. So you just have to be like magic, okay? If not like logic, but it's holding its own. But with that, that's why things are able to shift kind of quickly. Once we have that aha moment, or once we are just like, ugh, gross, over it. Um, not it anymore. Things are able to move forward. So it's really important that we notice this. It's also really important to notice all the scare tactics and the old lines and everything that we were being told isn't 100% working out for everybody. Other places in the world aren't swinging to the right, okay, which is great. So take a deep breath with that as well. I love when that happens. And also, it's important to notice that is getting us out of the illusion. It's important to notice because lower Pisces is that illusion, and it's really with all we have four planets in Pisces, and it's really digging us out of that lower illusionary Pisces, right? Of just like, oh, we've got to go along with it, or this is it, or making up a story to justify or to keep the person that we think is a good idea or whatever kind of in power or in our lives. And a lot of that goes back to narcissistic relationships where in women do this more than men, but men do this too. But like if there's someone in their life and we just keep making excuse to be like, oh, well, they must have meant that, or oh, I got to fix this in order to make it work out, right? That's that Virgo Pisces axis. Like Virgo's trying to resolve it, trying to like figure it out, like, oh, okay. Um, but it's not there. It's just not there. And I was working with someone who had been in a relationship for 20 years, and she's like, "Do I keep this going on?" And I'm like, if it's not there, it's not there. She was like, I don't know if they're manipulating me or if this is, and I'm not judging that at all. I'm not judging that at all. At the same time, the point is where we are now, moving forward. You don't need to be in relationships if you're asking yourself, are they manipulating me? You just don't have to do it anymore. That time's done. Like we can move on. We can move forward. Um, all those things that happened, whatever it was for those 20 years, put it at peace and move forward. I kind of had this with just working with some trying to get some business stuff done, and I've only been working with this person for maybe, well, way too long, quite honestly, but maybe since October, September, and finally just came to a head and it was like, I got to work with someone else. And when I finally, and I kept thinking, like, is it me? I mean, I was in tears. I was like, why can't I get this done? Why am I not communicating to that person that this isn't working? And all those are just normal red flags, right? And I know this. And so finally, um, my sister gave me a talking to, and I contacted this other person who's now able to help me with my business. And it's like everything was done in like 48 hours. And that was just a reminder that when you work with the right people, things get done immediately. They really do. They really do. Or there's he resolved it, right? This guy came in and he resolved it. There's a better way to resolve things instead of constantly swimming in the waters and churning and like, why isn't this happening? Am I not to meant to have this or am I blah blah blah? There was way too many stories around this when the reality was you just got to move on and get someone else because this isn't working. Sometimes it's really that cut and dry. Um, and so I hope you guys use this with this Virgo full moon. I hope this comes in handy with there is so much happening astrologically, and Venus is in retrograde, and I could tie that in with this, and Mercury's about to go retrograde, which is fine. Everyone that's like, blood moon, Mercury retrograde, let's all take a deep breath. It's layering in order to help us, okay? Not to kick us in the ass. Even though if we felt like we're getting kicked in the ass, maybe it kicks us in the ass, like my sister kicked me in the ass, but it resolved the problem, okay? Like it was like, oh, okay, I gotta go. Hopefully you guys all have a sister like mine or a friend. And like my friends, they were like so beautiful. They've like helped me through this process. I mean, I'm making it more dramatic than it is, but uh by saying it was a process, it was um, go time here in the last 5 days, and I'm really thankful for that. Um, and if we go into this idea of more into the idea of manifestation, and going back to higher Pisces and higher Virgo, and because Pisces is stream, and you have the stream that you do want to fill in the blank, right? Okay, to get there Virgo's coming in and she's giving you some steps on how you can resolve it. And you're like, okay. So you kind of start taking these steps. They're both mutable, right? So it's like, you know, you've got to start taking these steps. You can kind of feel it, you can kind of see it. the important thing is that idea of letting go, right? And it was like I had to let go of thinking that this person that I was working with was going to help me with the business, even though, I paid them money, um, nothing was happening, right? So then I was trapped in lower Virgo Pisces, where like if I just keep doing this, it will get resolved and then they'll come back to me. And then, the website will be up and running and then my beautiful dreams will all come true, right? I was just trying to be flexible with it, in the sense that okay, I'm working with this person. We had a contract. This is how it's supposed to be, but it wasn't working, right? It wasn't working. And me thinking like being flexible with it is like, oh, kind of giving them time or circling back around. But it wasn't working in a story. Okay. And that's when we have to get out of that illusion. That's when we have to listen to what's going on, what was going on in the back of my head, what was playing out. You don't need a website. You don't need to make extra money because you're just a good listener. You know what I mean? Like that's what was going on. Keep giving people the benefit of the doubt, making myself crazy, going into okay, that is that lower Virgo Pisces access. And I hope these, and you can do this with like if your health and nutrition, like um let's say you're trying to start a new, health routine and you're doing things, but in the back of your mind, if you're thinking, I'm never going to be healthy, it's just kind of easier to eat all this fast food. And it's not saying that you love yourself or hate yourself with that stuff, but if these things are going in the back of your mind, that's what's going to keep you from ascending to the next thing instead of thinking like, actually, you know what? We can't be healthy and we can think healthier thoughts. Yes, fast food is convenient, but so is X, Y, and Z, So once these things come up, it's easier to make that ascension, let the old story go, right? And it happens quickly. I'm telling you, once I called the other guy, he fixed it within 48 hours. 48 hours, I am not making this up. And 24 of those hours was because once you do things with websites, they have to populate and then voila. So it really does happen that quickly. That is when we talk about miracles or the ascension or one thing ending, another thing beginning, that's it. So if you guys have had a lot of turmoil coming up to this moon, um, I hope the solace that you got from it was maybe learning things that do need to let go and remembering who you are and your power. And I hope with this full moon energy moving forward, you're able to be more focused. And when those thoughts come by that are in the background, you can catch them and be like, oh, wait, 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 that's not where I want to be. I get that that's coming in there because I hear maybe my mom's voice or my dad's voice or, so and so's voice, but that's not where we are anymore. And I can tell you without a doubt, the energy is so strong on the planet to plant these new seeds, to turn things around. Once you just do it, it happens, just like with the website. It just happened. I emailed them. They called me literally 7 minutes later, and it went bam, bam, bam. And we got it up and running again after spending months just not not getting it done, basically, not getting it done. And then, we got to go on from there. So I'm going to read some words from Eckhart Tolle, or Eckhart Tolle. I'm not sure how to say his name. And it just kind of came up today. So it kind of just, I felt like went with this time. So attachment to the outcome weakens the ability to manifest the destination. And that is that idea of seeing it exactly how you think it should be once new people enter the room, right? It's easier to say, okay, well, the outcome is getting this website up and working so I can put things on that I want to share with people. Instead of like when someone enters the room, okay, well, I'm going to put everything, I'm going to attach all this to this person. And before when we used to talk about this, it was really hard to explain. But I feel like the more we've been working with this idea of surrender and kind of letting go and being in balance and equilibrium, this is making way more sense than it did maybe even like a year ago. So because we're in this mutable energy, it's important to say, okay, this is where I want to be. I'm starting out in this capacity. If it's not working, instead of constantly feeding the person, right? Which makes sense. I mean, we had a contract. We were working, back and forth, but the end result was not happening in a timely manner, um, a manner that made sense, right? And so I had to get out of that. I had to get out of that and then go to someone else to get it done. Because the bigger manifestation was getting a beautiful working website. That was the bigger, instead of putting it on to someone who was going to make it happen. Does that make sense? I hope so. Um, he was saying that once you get to your destination, which happens a lot, the idea is it is the journey up into the destination. Because once you get there and you look around, there is that satisfaction. But what's important is really being present in all the steps that got you to the destination. All the things that you did, all the things that you said, all the things that you experienced, all the things that you learned, because that is the destination. So when you finally get to that point, um, you can see the journey that got you there, and be really grateful and be really happy and be really reflective on that and see all the things that you had to let go in order to get to what it is that you needed. For me, it's a working website. So, um, he said the quality, um, if you okay, if you already want to be there, it takes away from the quality of the steps at this moment, right? And so keeping what you're doing in order to get there, again, that is unfolding. So the idea that I kept just focusing on the website and wanting it to be working, I was totally missing the fact that it wasn't working with this person that was doing it, because I wanted to be there already instead of focusing on the steps to get there. So I hope this is translating into your life. I really do, because where we are, the energy on the planet, and we'll pull two cards. The energy on the planet right now is shifting so fast, shifting us out of the illusion, shifting us into resolving. Things don't have to be that hard. It doesn't mean that we don't have to work at things. We have to get our hands dirty. Um, but the idea that you can have some sort of resolution pretty quickly is real. Is real. And you resolve one thing, so we resolve this, so now I got to work on something else to keep the website going. There's still that. But the idea of all the struggle and the turmoil, and am I hurting someone's feelings? And um, am I hurting someone's feelings? And can I say this or can I not say this? Mm-mm. It needs to be said, it needs to be done. It can be resolved and we can keep moving. And the Page of Pentacles came out, who's a manifester. So see, this is a big manifesting moon. And if you're like, I don't know what to manifest, or this is what I'm trying to manifest, you can just manifest the idea that you can manifest quicker and you can be shown right away what it is that's quote unquote blocking it, and being like, oh, okay, got it. Okay, got it. Okay, fill that on the side. Okay. So we have this is so cute. So we have the Page of Pentacles, who is the manifester, and then we have the Sun, which is our self-confidence, and being confident that we can be good manifestors moving forward. So all page energy to me is a young energy. It's unjaded, which is really important. So that would be important. So if we're trying to figure out what we're doing, but if we're jaded and we think, I can't get this, only those people get that, or fill in the blank, you got to bring this guy back. You got to think about, oh, wait, I need to be in my Page of Pentacles energy. Because, and again, Pentacles, Earth, Virgo. Virgo is an Earth sign. And so she is saying she wants us to manifest. She wants us to be easy. She wants things to get resolved, right? She wants to give us the right steps to get us there. And the other thing too is like if we resolved it. So like I moved on. I'm working with this person. It's resolved. I got to move on. I can't keep thinking how pissed off I am because it took me so long to get there, right? Or the money that I spent, right? Those thoughts were there, trust me. But I remember texting my friend and I was like, I'm just moving forward. We're here. We got to go. We got to go. Um, Page Pentacles, that energy. You can do it. It doesn't matter what happened before. If you can do it, align yourself with the right people, alignment, eclipse, and let's get it done. We can always get it done. And then we have the beautiful sun coming in. And the sun card is the happiest card, right? And it is signaling it's time for us to be happy. It is time for us to be joyful. It is time for us to remember that things can be easy. And I know if you look at the news and, you know, all the other things, that's probably not high on your list, but we're moving into this energy of living from the inside out. And again, Pam Gregory did a great talk on this. Um, and you guys have got to find it. I think I linked it to the la in the last video, so you guys could go there and find it. But once we start getting back into this young energy of manifesting and being okay, and working on things that we love and having confidence in that, having confidence in ourselves. Remember, we can laugh at ourselves. Things are going to start happening really, really, really fast. Oh, God. And at the bottom, and at the bottom of the deck is the Fool. Because it's time for us to get into this new journey. It's time for us to start these new stories. It's time for us to really understand and how to work with the astrology and these accesses. And yes, there's going to be challenges and things that we learn, just like me and this website, right? But the bigger picture is the new journey that we're on. And we're in this together, and that can be really, really beautiful. And we have, puppies and little animals that go with it too. You see all that yellow? Okay, that's that solar plexus. You see all the blue, that's our feelings. That could be our heart. Or that could be our throat chakra. That could be our third eye. Although the heart chakra is green, but he's got green on his tunic. I don't know what you call this. His outfit. And that's that 0 degrees point, right? Starting over. The zero card. Starting over, letting go of what we don't need to bring with us, letting go, even if those things sting and burn. Trust me, I was not happy with that. But I really was like, you got to just grit your teeth and move forward, James, because you want other things to come of this. The bigger picture is what you want. And it's not like I felt 100% great, like fucking zen about it, but it was like, we got to move on. And the more that I can let that go and move on, the better I feel about it. The more I focus on myself, the more I focus on the present, the more I focus on the future, the easier it is to move on with my life. All jets ahead, moving forward. We're moving quick. We're moving towards Aries, the first sign in the zodiac. That's that the zodiac beginning. And again, at the end of the month, Neptune will be moving into Aries, and I can't wait. So let's look forward to that. One more thing before I log off. I just want to say, like, a lot of times people are always saying, like, when we're working with Pisces, look for water events, Virgo, earth events, and all these big, huge things. I just want to say, check out your house. Okay, water event, my water bill is like double. I don't know why. Okay. If you're looking for, you can those things as well. Okay, it doesn't have to be some huge catastrophe. It could be like, why is my water bill so high? Do I have a leak somewhere? Okay, so just want to put that in. If you're listening to other astrologers or whatnot, and they're going on and on about natural disasters with things, maybe just do a little whirl around your house and check out, see if how those things are working out for you. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Happy full moon in Virgo. Happy total lunar eclipse. If you guys were having some turmoil moving into this, please see that I see you. I understand whether it is something huge, whatever. If you have that turmoil, I'm wishing you, love and light, as they say, but also wishing you using this Virgo energy to resolve it and come to a beautiful resolution in your heart in order for all of us to move forward. So we can really manifest what it is that we want to see in our lives in the most, the quickest, easiest, and beautiful, loving way. Okay, friends, until next time, happy eclipse.